Hello from the Sloans in Burtibang, Nepal. We just kind of want to let you know what it's like here, so we've kind of taken some videos of our work and what it's like around here. Now this is looking out our window. Whoops. Actually, that's the wrong window. And you thought that Nepal was landlocked. Well, let's go to the other window and look. Looks a little different here. Let's get back to reality here. We're up in Harpy now, and we're watching them butcher a buffalo. All the men get together and they buy a buffalo, and this would be your meat shop up here. They all get together, buy a buffalo, and then they butcher it and divide up the meat, and that's what they're doing now, is dividing up the meat. And this is actually for a festival that they're getting ready to celebrate tonight. And they're all sitting around kind of going through the meat. They divide up the meat, the bones, the hide, everything. Nothing is wasted. They even eat the hide. So they divide up the good meat and then they divide up the bad meat. And if you wanted to buy meat, this is where you'd come and buy some off them.
Now they're dividing up meat now. Those look to me like the piles of good meat. I don't think they've divided up the bones or the hide or the guts yet. They're getting ready to do that.
Burtibang mustahil.
Put it under the tap and wash the air off. And then give the choicest pieces away to our neighbors. Cook it up in a pressure cooker. This lady is Jill's neighbor lady. She's weaving on a tari. Didi? Yes, kunam tari? Tari. And she's making what men often wear on their backs to put things in. What's it called? Yes, kunam banaira ke banainsa? Gado. She's making a gado, which men tie in a certain way on their backs and use it for putting things on, similar to how we'd use a backpack. She makes about 4 or 5 strips and then sews them together. Her little baby's there being swung. He's been sick, and Jill's been trying to see that he gets some good food.
Let's take a look at the baby, the babu, huh?
Babu kunam teo.
Camel.
Well, we'll cross one of the many bridges here. This is monsoon time. These rivers tend to go up and down depending on the rain. But just to give you an idea what the bridges are like that you cross, we'll cross one. You can come with me. Most of the time they're pretty worn out. And you got to be careful where you step. See, there's been a lot of repairs, but you don't necessarily trust the repairs. River is fairly low now, but if it rains tonight, it will be over these rocks here on the side. They come up very quick here. downstairs. We ate here this morning, so.
तपाईको लागि एकपल्ट म नमस्ते गर्छु है
The problem is, what Lydia's just said is that she can't say namaste, she can't say hello with dirty hands. So she must wash her hands, then she can say namaste, then she can go on eating her rice.
Oh, okay. So.
Now she can give you a namaste.
मली हैन
Mollyको साथी.
मलीको साथी
Molly?
तपाई मली
यो मेरो साथी, मेरो आफ्नो देश हुनुहुन्छ? So,
मलीको साथीको नाम के
Molly.
सबै साथी.
Molly ko ba ama? Ma ko ba mero ko ba ama or mero ba ama? Pani. Here huncha.
हजुर आमा हजुर बुवा होला हैन
हैन हुन.
मेरो लागि हजुर बुवा हजुर आमा होला
Okay. She's gonna say hi to you.
हजुर आमा हजुर बुवा मेरो नमस्ते छ तपाईको छोरी मली मेरो घरमा बस्नुहुन्छ मलाई राम्रो लागेको छ नमस्ते हजुर बुवा हजुर आमा
Namaste. She said.
Better say what you
Namaste to Grandma and Grandpa, huh? Yeah, and she said that you live in her house and she's very happy. Romano Chimeki.
She said hello to everybody and that we live in her house and she's very happy. Oh, dai.
माग्लिदाको लागि
Video ko lagi. For mero.
तिमीले धेमा नमस्ते गरेपछि आउँछ उहाँको आमा बुवाले हजुर आमा हजुर बुवा नमस्ते भना त उहाँ हजुर
Okay, picture.
नमस्ते हजुर बुवा हजुर
नमस्ते हजुर बुवा हजुर मुवा
त्यसपछि बल्ल भन्नु
मेरो नाम ओम विकास छन्टेल हो हजुरको छोरी भान्जा छोरी मली भान्जा माइक मेरो घरमा बस्नुहुन्छ मलाई धेरै नै खुसी लागेको छ धन्यवाद
Hey Liz, you want to interpret? Where'd you go?
I'm down here. What he said was that his full name and that Mike and Molly live down in his house, so he's really happy that they live here. It was a very formal speech, giving true.
Well, that was our neighbors downstairs who actually own the house we live in. And we ate dalbat down there. And you eat about 10 o'clock. And so we had rice and some chicken and things like that this morning. And they give you a little speech. That man actually has 2 wives. Both women down there were his wives. And I think he actually has several more in the villages around here. But anyway, that's a typical way you socialize here, and we're happy to have them as neighbors because the older woman has really taken Molly under her wing and really helps her with her language and things like that. Now they downstairs have 2 boys with her, plays with Jake quite a bit. So we'll meet them now.
This is Jolikman.
Jolikman, yeah. Santa, say namaste. Namaste, Banchu. Bancha. Daniel, say namaste. Namaste.
Namaste and namaste to you.
You can see they're playing with Jake. Kun Babu.
Gagan babu.
Huh? Bananas. Today is Saturday, or actually it's Sunday, which for us is a church day. And we'll go into the kitchen and see what Molly's doing. And we're going to see how we have church here and what we do.
Welcome to Sloan's house. As Mike said, we're just getting ready for everyone to come to church. So, just cleaning up some dishes, and this is Kamala. That's Miley's younger sister. Miley's the Nepali girl who usually works here, but she's sick today. So Kamala is helping us make dal bhat, takali, and some...
Kamala namaste banana huncha. Satiko lagi. Sati haruko lagi. Desma, huh?
So, let's see, who's coming today? About once a month it's at our house. So, we have, besides our family, and Liz Taylor, who's staying with us from Pokhara. We have the two families are coming from Harpy with their two little girls, which Daniel always looks forward to, and the girls look forward to. So they'll be showing up pretty soon, and then the two girls, Anna and Sue, who live up on a hill about a half an hour walk from here. And who else? Oh, and one couple's out in Pokhara right now for a 3-week vacation and a little bit of work.
So we should see what's cooking, huh?
Yeah, Kamala can show. Kamala de Kamos. Nepali Kokana.
Oh, nothing in that one. So rice and vegetables.
Didi dal दिनुपर्छ हैन
Dal, huh?
Dal.
No.
That's lentils. As you can see, we cook on a fire, kind of a different type of wood stove than what anybody's used to
Dal दिदिनुस्
in America, but it works good. A little smoky is all.
Oh,
Let's see.
Pani matre, dalko lagi? Kukyu? Dal? Tapako lagi?
Dal दिदी पानी Dal दिनुस्
Oh, dal. Yo?
Yeah.
Dal. I'll see if it's enough. Let's see here.
So we're getting ready. Everybody will be coming in about an hour. And they'll eat here and stay overnight because it's so far away, some of the homes, and it'll be dark, so we just take turns. And next week we'll go up above. It takes to Harpy, which takes a couple hours to walk to, and we'll stay overnight up there next weekend. So we take turns for that.
So tonight we have the pleasure of a guest speaker named Mike Sloan who's going to do his famous covenant study. And one of the other guys on the team will lead the worship, which would be interesting for you to see because no one out here plays a guitar or a flute. There's no musical instrument. So we're just counting on our voices, making a joyful noise to the Lord. And I think it does because there's no one out here worshiping the Lord besides us. So even though we're a small group, I think He takes a lot of delight in hearing that come from this area.
So we'll quit here and show again when the people.
Is she imitating? Is she imitating you?
Listen, everything. This is our friends Anna and Sue and Liz. Anna and Sue live up at the top of this hill, and they're just heading home after work. And Liz is out from Pokhara visiting for a while and working out here in the villages, teaching health and hygiene. So we're just taking a little walk up here tonight, just to stretch our legs and get out of Bhurtibang for a while. You can see things are really getting green this time of year because of all the rain.
So there's Burtibang. As you can see, it's kind of nestled in between the hills. It kind of sits in a pretty small little valley. For most of the valleys that have any farmland, you'll find villages on. Okay, I thought what we'd do for this missions conference, we wanted to make this tape for, is to show you a little bit of what we do as a team out here in Burtibang, and a little bit of the countryside and things like that, but focus more in on what we do as a team. So today we're about 2-3 hours above Burtibang in a little village, and this is going to be a health visit today, and a couple of nurses have come up, and we're going to be doing more health things for children and for pregnant mothers and mothers with young babies. And so that's what this is going to be for today. And this is kind of what a lot of the health clinics are in this area, is going around to different villages and running these clinics for the mothers. And we really do start at very simple things. They teach them how to wash their hands, to nutritious foods, to keeping an eye on the babies to make sure they're gaining weight, not losing weight, and things like this. So it's very simplified, and yet to these people it's very needed. So we'll go into a little bit of of what's going to happen today, and you'll see this. So this will be the health.
Okay, you don't want me. So the clinic's now started, and Purna, he's the health peon. He is looking at the yellow cards and writing down the weights. Anna, who's from Germany and is the head of the health program, she's organising the children so that each one will be weighed and their weight will be plotted on that yellow card, which gives the optimum weight gain that each child for their age should take. Now if they fall within that road to health, they'll be given lots of praise and encouraged to come next time. And if it comes down below that, then they'll get advice on what sort of nutrition the child needs, and they'll go into a history to find out if those children have been suffering from worms or maybe even TB or a major disease, or if it's just a minor thing. The problem when you start talking about nutrition is that often in their gardens and in their fields the right kind of foods aren't being grown. There's no shops around and they have very little money to actually buy things with. So that's where we integrate in with the agricultural programme to try and encourage good seeds to be used, good crops to be grown. But they can make much better use of the kind of seeds that are available. And later on you might see us talking about lito, which is a kind of porridge made from corn and wheat and rice or soybean that's really nutritious and is from a readily available product. Okay, so the clinic's finished. We've weighed all the babies and they've all been examined. And now we're introducing to her own village, the village midwife. She's been chosen from amongst the women. She's been to do a training in Burtibang. That's 1 day a week, 1 day a month for about 6 months, and that will continue for another year.
But now she's receiving her box of things that will enable her to do the deliveries in the village. Up till now, they've really had nobody who's been able to do that for them. There's no history of mothers or one person doing the deliveries for this village. So she's going to receive this box and receive quite a lot of status as she takes that box to her home and is able to give help to the other women. She's not just a midwife, she's also going to be able to give health education about the way to bring up children, the kind of food they need, about mother-child health clinics generally, and eventually it'll be her that runs this clinic. So that's what Mrs. Joseph's explaining right now. And then later on we're going to give them a little puppet show just to help explain some of the ways of best giving medicine and treatment for diarrhea.
So now we're going to go up and see a water project that we are doing here. And the guy that's doing that, his name is Grant. He's an engineer from New Zealand, and we'll meet him later. And you see behind me a river in Nepal, and water is a plentiful resource in Nepal. But the problem is, it's also not too plentiful. And one of the projects we're doing here is trying to get water to the villagers. Some of these villages are way up in the hills, as we'll see. We're going to walk up about 2 hours to a village. So some of the challenges we have is trying to supply water to houses and villages such as you see there on that hill. And that's one of our projects that we are doing here as a mission. And we've walked up to one of these sites now. And there you can see a tank that is being made to be a catch basin for water that's brought in to supply, like those villages, houses down below us there. And we have the engineer with INF here who's kind of helping these projects, and he'll explain to you some of the logistics of this work here. This is Grant Meekles. He's from New Zealand.
This is a fairly typical water system that we're doing here. Most water systems to supply drinking water for villages in Nepal are gravity fed. There's plenty of head to supply water. There's no problem, as you can see from the hills around here, there's no problem with getting lots of drop. The problem is however controlling the drop. The source that we're supplying water to the villages here from is about 3 kilometres up around these ridges here, and the amount of drop from the source to the lowest tap is about 300 metres, about 1,000 foot. And since the plastic pipe we use can only stand the pressure of 100 metres of drop, we have a problem of how to control this excessive amount of pressure. So the way we are coping with it on this project is that we have a number of small tanks like this, where we supply 1 or 2 small villages from each tank. So this tank here is one of 3 small tanks in this scheme, where we supply 3 villages from here. A small village here, and a small village over here, and a small village down further.
I might say that 3 kilometers is about over 6 miles, is that right?
No, 2 miles.
Huh?
2 miles.
2 miles, okay. So it's about 2 miles to the source. Right.
Over pretty difficult country. This is the best of the country we see here because people are farming it, but up towards the source it's very steep, very prone to rock slides and slips.
Okay.
With me here is Sambhu Chaudhary, our overseer, and he's responsible for a lot of the overseeing and management of a scheme like this. He'll talk to you a wee bit about the tank that we're building here and the type of construction we use.
This is kerosene tank. We use kerosene tank because less cement can be used Cement, masonry.
Here we have a finished tank, the same sort as the one we saw before. Ferro cement construction. The walls and the roof are made by putting in chicken wire and putting 3 or 4 coats of plaster, 2 on each side. So the end thickness on the walls is something like 1.5 to 2 inches. We go for this sort of construction because it's very economical on cement, also reinforcing, which is a major factor to us who have to carry everything 3 or 4 days. This scheme now is coming to the end of its construction. With the finishing of that tank that we saw before, the scheme should be pretty much finished. But the challenge now is for ongoing maintenance. In this village I don't foresee it being too much of a problem. We're going to train 2 maintenance workers, but the payment of the maintenance workers and the organisation of the maintenance workers is the responsibility of the Drinking Water Committee, who's overseeing this construction so far. I don't see it as being too much of a problem here because this series of villages are really hurting for water. During the 4 dry months of the year, sometimes for each load of water it takes an hour to an hour and a half to collect for some of these houses. And when you think that a house might need 3 or 4 loads of water just for their cooking and drinking, feeding their stock, that's a major labour input required in each house. The other challenge though that is much more difficult is the sanitation. People here just go to the toilet in the forest and in the fields. As part of our input into this area, we've required the area to have 20 demonstration latrines.
What you're looking at is the village of Purkat, which is about 2 hours above Burtibang. And this is where you've just seen the water scheme done. And now we come to my job and what I'm supposed to be doing. What we want to do is come into an area like this, a village like this, and develop cottage industries or rural industries. This area is a very poor area. People are very poor. In fact, they can't even grow enough food for themselves. And it's a food deficit area. And so what we want to do is come in here and increase their income a little bit so that they have a little bit extra paisa to hopefully, or money, to hopefully buy the things that will better their life. And to do that, we have to come in with some kind of industry that they could be motivated in and want to do themselves. And one of the hard things you find about Nepal doing this in cottage industry is getting something that they want to do. We can come in with all kinds of Western ideas that just don't fit in here. And you get them going and it seems good, but when you pull back it falls and it falls apart and doesn't succeed. And this is what we don't want to do. We want to get things going that they're motivated in themselves and that will better their lifestyles. And also will tie into the other areas here, like the agricultural area that we're doing and the water area, and we can tie all these things in together. And so hence my job is trying to figure out what to do, what to get them motivated in or whatever, so that they will be excited about starting a little industry that will bring money into here. Our job, or my job that I don't want to do, is to make the rich richer, but to bring a little income into the poor. And some of the ideas that I have is, one is to start them into growing vegetables and taking those vegetables such as tomatoes, onions, potatoes, things like that really aren't native to this area, and they can grow them and take them down to the market in the bazaar at Burtibang and sell them. And that way they could have a little bit extra money and also hopefully better their nutrition as they eat a little bit. Another area is maybe loom area of cloth making and those kind of things. There's also things like soap making, which is quite an industry you can get into here. But anyway, this is what we're trying to do, and we're going to start doing after the monsoons in about 3 months, is start to develop and hopefully motivate them to be motivated to get into
What you're looking at here is a rice crop that was transplanted about a month ago. And on the borders, they've planted soybeans. In Burtibang, rice is a rich man's crop because the poor people can't afford this irrigated land. Hi, my name's Dana Nile. I'm from Big Sky country of Montana. Been in Nepal about 3.5 years, and I've been out here in the Burtibang area for almost 2 years. I'm what they call the agriculture section head, and right now it's just myself and one other person, so it's not too hard of a job being head. We started with the agriculture work about 1.5 years ago, and to begin with I did a lot of work testing new varieties of crops to see if we could bring in some new varieties and increase the food that these people have. But it turned out that the old varieties were doing just as good as the new ones because of lack of soil fertility. So I don't think we'll be bringing in any new varieties of the major crops such as maize, wheat, barley, or millet. I don't think we'll bring in any new varieties unless their soil fertility is improved. On the horticulture side, we've done a lot of vegetable trainings on how to grow vegetables, and we've provided a lot of seed. And people are really picking up on how to grow and eat vegetables out here. And it's very much needed because their diet is mostly grain. It's mostly wheat, it's mostly barley. Well, it's like this. In a year, they'll harvest the corn, and they'll eat corn for about 3 months. Then they'll harvest the millet, and they'll eat millet for about 3 months. And then they harvest the wheat and the barley and eat that the remainder of the year. And very little vegetables, so their diet is very unbalanced. And they're picking up on the vegetables, so that's something I'm glad about. We're also involved with animals in the sense that we've trained 16 people to diagnose and to treat with medicines simple ailments like worms and liver fluke. Almost every animal out here has got worms and liver flukes. So we've taught them how to give medicine and how to diagnose some of the other diseases. And that's really the way that we plan to increase the soil fertility, is to increase the health of the animal and to provide better fodder for the animal, and then we'll have more manure to put on the land. In this area it's too far away to bring in chemical fertilizer, and it's too expensive to make it pay. So we've got to use compost and animal manure.